Pathmonk is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add Pathmonk to your website in seconds, let the AI do all the work, and get access to 50% more qualified leads while you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us on pathmonk.com. Welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We have Amy Wilkinson from Wallet Connect, Growth Marketing Manager with them. How are you doing today, Amy?
I'm great, thanks. Really excited to be on the show and chat all things marketing.
Definitely. And I'm excited as well to learn a little bit more about what Wallet Connect is all about. And I'm sure our listeners are tuning in, wondering that as well. So Amy, let's kick it off with that. In your own words, can you tell us a little bit more?
Absolutely. So we're in Web3. We are kind of a pivotal in a very young industry. We've been around for a considerable amount of time. If you don't know Web3, it's kind of a new frontier for the internet. It's the terminology Web3 comes from the internet that we have that it exists today is considered as Web2. Web3 is a decentralized form of the internet. So it's being kind of pegged as the future version of the internet, which gives people back kind of control over their own position in their online digital identity. What Wallet Connect does is a couple of things. We have like a messaging protocol, which enables products and anyone building anything on this new kind of frontier of the internet to actually connect with other applications, connect with customers' accounts and users. And at the same time, we also build developer tooling, which lets, again, the same kind of customer base, anyone building in this new frontier of the internet, building in Web3, build a plethora of tools, essentially build a great user experience for their customers who come into Web3 and can actually experience like a traditional Web2-like experience that they're used to when they're surfing the internet. So more secure, seamless, scalable, and just an all-round nicer kind of user experience for people exploring kind of crypto and decentralized internet.
Definitely. Okay, awesome. And so that way then our listeners could get a good understanding there of Wallet Connect. Amy, what would you say is that key problem that you guys like to solve for clients?
Yeah, so Web3 is young. Web3 is an industry that's been around for, less than 20 years. So it's a really, really, really young industry. It has a lot of promise, a lot of hope. It has a great concept and great values for the future of the internet and many, many other industries that it touches. The difficulty that a lot of people building in this space have today, who are very value aligned with what this new internet can provide and offer, is that it's really difficult to build in. If anyone listening has ever worked for a decentralized project, taking away kind of the central protocols and central products that we're very used to working with, so like Meta and Amazon, which we typically use day in, day out as developers, as businesses, as customers in the format of the internet that we have today. We don't have that, which really removes some of the like communication opportunities. A lot of the user experience kind of is very limited when you enter into Web3. So any builders, and we're a B2B service, any builders kind of developing in this industry today are often met with a lot of difficulties in building nice user experiences, which then of course leads to difficulties onboarding users. When users have a really terrible experience, they're going to tip back into what they're used to and not want to use your product. So the problem that we're solving for a lot of our customers today is really improving that user journey, again, across like security, just general UI and UX and the nice aspect of using a certain product. We are building a series of tools that developers can use and businesses can use that can really just improve that user journey and ultimately grow and scale their product and their community.
Definitely important. All right, awesome. So then how would somebody then usually find out about Wallet Connect? Is there a top client acquisition channel for you guys, Amy?
It's funny. There's a few. We obviously we're a digital first industry. We're a digital first product. The interesting thing about Web3 is that it's very, very value oriented. So the industry was built around this concept for a new internet, which typically when we build a new solution, it's because we've, identified a problem, right? So the industry was built on this basis that there's a problem which required a solution. And it's very value aligned with everyone that's building in the ecosystem today. So a lot of those values orient around privacy, data, transparency. So when it comes to Web3, marketing and acquisition and lead gen is a whole new ball game compared to traditional marketing. So where you're looking at like out of home and you're looking at paid channels that traditionally would work for you, it's an entirely different ball game in Web3. So there's a lot of organic. There's a lot of conference and events, so IRL, which is interesting for a digital native industry. And interestingly as well, for anyone looking to get into the space, there's a lot of Web3 native tools as well, which as marketers we use a lot today. There's new Web3 socials, which we have a very small industry and an even smaller customer base when we're looking at B2B. There's tools like Forecaster and a number of different social tools, content tools within the industry that it's a smaller audience that you're targeting, but you generally have a much higher kind of threshold and reach among those audiences.
All right. Interesting that there are channels for you guys. And so that way our listeners who are tuned in could go ahead and visit you, Amy. They could always check you guys out at walletconnect.com. What role does a website then play for client acquisition?
Yeah, I mean, our website is critical to acquisition. We, as a B2B, as a company that ultimately provides any products who are building software solutions, our product exists online, excuse me, and it's accessible through our website. So our website is part and parcel of all of our user journeys. We have an extensive kind of requirement on documentation and education around what our product is, which all lives digitally on our website. And ultimately, without the website, we don't have an evergreen kind of single source of truth to host that information. So it's pivotal and critical to all of our user acquisition. We leverage that in different ways. We optimize it in different ways. So certain SEO tactics. And additionally, specifically, our CTAs kind of across the board in digital marketing generally lead back to our website. So it plays a really critical role, which I think is quite standard in today's world for SaaS and software and any non-native products that live online.
Definitely, I would agree with that. So then on that note then, Amy, is there any tools or tips or methods that you would recommend to our listeners as far as some website lead generation?
Absolutely. I think test. I am a big fan of testing everything across the website. Landing pages, again, a lot of things are kind of, based on how big your team is, what resources you have. But the more that you can test messaging, positioning of buttons, what CTAs you have on websites, what the user journey looks like, what the drop-off points in the funnel are, constantly be testing and analyzing data. Never make assumptions that, the copy that you've decided looks really great and you've, done a bit of SEO, long tail research. You can have the greatest ideas and somehow when you're like analyzing data and testing, you discover that it's actually the anomaly and it's the thing that you expected the least to happen was the highest performer. And you really find some great low-hanging fruits there. So test, analyze your data, don't underestimate the power of potentially being wrong and finding some great opportunities through that.
Love what you said, right? Don't underestimate, you're going to be wrong sometimes, but that's what the test is all about. So that way you get the right formula. So awesome to hear that from you, Amy. Thank you so much for sharing that with us and for our listeners as well. And well, let's switch gears a little bit here, Amy. Let's talk about you as a leader. What are some key tasks you like to focus on your day-to-day work?
So I'm lucky enough to have a really, really great team. We have a very high level of execution at Wallet Connect. We have again, being a very young industry, it's a very fast-paced and evolving industry. So if we are not constantly shipping and keeping on top of industry changes and keeping our finger on the pulse of the industry, we're behind. So I have a really, really great team that works a lot operationally and execution. One thing that I do a lot of, specifically at Wallet Connect, but also just generally kind of working in the industry for 5+ years now, is focusing on strategy and like supporting on vision and brand and ensuring that that is an integral part of what we're doing. I think for Web3, if there are any listeners who are working in the industry as well, being an engineering and developer and tech oriented and tech native industry, we've evolved a lot over the past decade, where we've come from a position that people are just marketing to essentially themselves and their small kind of cohorts of like-minded individuals, to really scaling and growing as an industry and like onboarding people who are kind of coming from more traditional realms and audiences from wider markets. And we've got into a position where a lot of brands have succeeded and kind of gotten by and done okay, and not really kind of understanding what their brand positioning is, what their tone of voice is, what their vision, mission, purpose is. And I'm lucky enough at Wallet Connect that we have a pretty good kind of grasp on that, and we have a great North Star and roadmap, and we know what we're working towards. But I think recently, as of the last 2 years or so at Wallet Connect and beyond, focusing pretty hard on strategy and prioritization when there's so many moving things and so many opportunities. And really understanding what, opportunities to leverage, which ones to focus on, and just building everything into the North Star strategy is pretty key focus for me at the moment, and probably for the foreseeable as the industry continues to grow and scale.
Definitely. I mean, you say it's lucky enough, but I mean, you're the leader there, so it's you built it, so it's you're it's everything is on that nice pace of everything working. So kudos to you for getting that happen. And in the between time, then Amy, how do you stay up to date with all the news, trends, strategies out there in the marketing world? Is there a preferred channel that you like to go with?
I do love podcasts. I think my preferred channel, because it fits my my kind of hacky brain and ability to dip in and out of things as and when I have 5-minute windows here and there. I'm a big fan of newsletters. I like the Marketing Brew. I think there's a few KOLs who I do enjoy following and listening to as well, like Neil Patel. I think written is my favorite form. And I think also, specifically within my industry, refining my echo chamber in a sense, in terms of the information I have on my social feeds, is something that I'm really, really cautious of. Keeping to a certain standard that I can really dip into those channels and receive information that's valuable to me, like as and when I have, a window of opportunity to expand my brain and my thinking and keep up to date.
Definitely. All right. Great. There are channels there for our listeners. Well, Amy, let's jump into our next section here, which is our rapid fire question rounds. Are you ready for them?
I am.
Perfect. All right. First off then, Amy, what is the last book that you read?
The last book I read was Read, Write, Own by Chris Dixon. Very Web3.
Okay, perfect. Great read there for our listeners in that Web3 area. Next up then is, if there would be no boundaries in technology, what would be that one thing that you want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
Probably something around AI. A really, really simplified tool. I think the groundwork and the tooling is there for us to leverage AI in a great way. But today it takes a significant lift internally for someone to really build out the model that you require to have like that one tap experience of repurposing all your content for multiple platforms. I think it would be great to have that, have a really, really solid tool just available at hand for that.
Perfect. Awesome. Then now, if there's one repetitive task that you could automate, Amy, what would that be?
Email checking? No, I'm kidding. Probably content repurposing, which I think we're getting there in being able to make it less manual, but we're still a little bit of a way off. There's definitely room to optimize repurposing content.
Yep, I think likewise as well. But also the email, right? I think also that's very important. And then, well, I mean, Amy, do have to ask, you have a lot of experience already in the marketing world, but what is that one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
Outcomes over output. That aligns with prioritization, which I think is something you learn along the way, but I would love to go years back and understand the value and the ROI of the time I'm putting into things. And really, I think for a lot of people starting out in the industry, you know, if you're in with a smaller project, you have the like de facto go to of write a blog for this, write a blog for that. We have this to talk about. Let's write a blog. And then it can take some time to realize that, you know, there's not a huge outcome from certain things that you're doing within the space when you're kind of junior and just starting out. So really having a prioritization structure set, which I first was introduced to a long time ago by a great CMO, one of my mentors, and really, really, really just remembering and reminding myself outcomes over output is the real winner. I think it took me a few years to get that ingrained into my brain. So yeah.
Hey, well, thank you so much for sharing that, right? I mean, that's the idea behind that. I mean, it took you years. Hopefully our listeners, you know, can take it up right now and don't have to wait those years. So thank you so much for that advice, for not for yourself, but for our listeners as well, Amy.
Of course.
And well, we are coming to the end of our show today, Amy, but before we do end, I do want to give you the last word. Say someone forgets everything about the interview today. What is that one thing they should remember about while they connect?
The new internet is a really, really exciting opportunity for many industries, many projects building in like traditional formats today, both SaaS products, B2C, B2B, B2B2C. The concept of the new internet and technologies that are being built today for kind of the future of like the digital landscape is really amazing. We work very directly with products and projects and companies and organizations that are not only building in the space, but also looking to build in the space. So for anyone that has a little bit of awareness of like Web3 and decentralization and the concept of like the future evolution of the internet, and isn't quite sure where to get started, or is already building and really wants some simplified tooling to help their project like succeed and elevate and grow, connect with us. Definitely tap into the website, have a look. We're always here. We have a great social lead who's there to answer any questions and help people on board. But TLDR, we are like, our mission is to help people build in Web3 and build in the new internet. If people don't know how to do that and they've come to us, then we have a problem. So yeah, definitely if you're considering it, looking at it, don't know how to get started, come to Wallet Connect, have a look at our offering and see how we can help you.
There you guys heard it. Check them out at walletconnect.com. Build engaging Web3 experiences. Amy, thank you so much for being on with us today. To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm looking forward to our next episode at Pathmonk Presents. Thanks a lot, Amy.
Thanks for having me.